Welcome to Basagan Trip. I'm Leloy Claudio. I teach history and literature at De La Salle University. As always, kung meron kayong komento, meron kayong suggestions for topic, or gusto nyo lang ako i-troll o may pagkwentuhan, please tweet me at Leloy Claudio. Ang gusto kong pag-usapan today, or tonight rather, is a very topical issue. At ito yung issue ng sexual harassment on campus. Alam naman natin na sa US merong Me Too movement. At dito sa Pilipinas, in mga anonymous forums, nagkakaroon ng maraming akusasyon ngayon about improper behavior of professors towards students. Ano ba talaga ang sanhi nito at ano ang pwedeng gawin ng mga universidad at mga kolehiyo para tugunan ang problemang ito? And with me right now, ang guest ko is one of the best feminists that I can talk to about this issue dito sa Pilipinas. Siya ang director ng Center for Women's and Gender Studies ng University of the Philippines System, si Dr. Natsi Verceles, si Teacher Natsi. Teacher Natsi, welcome to Basagan Trip.
Teacher Lelo, it's a pleasure to be here.
Thanks, Teach. So let's dig right into it. Yung
Yes.
first question ko, how do you define sexual harassment on campus?
The definition that I love the most is, because it's very expansive, is the one that we use in the UP Anti-Sexual Harassment Code. It has many parts, okay? The first is sexual harassment is unwanted, unwelcome, uninvited behavior that is sexual in nature. It also consists of inappropriate sexual advances and offensive remarks made to a person on the basis of his or her sex or sexual orientation. And then it can happen between people, not necessarily in a dominant-subordinate relationship. In other words, the offender does not have to have moral authority, power, influence over the victim survivor. And then also it can be physical, it can be verbal, and it can also be visual. In other words, in the form of an obscene gesture or sharing sexually explicit material that makes the other person uncomfortable. But it also, the ASH code also carries the definition of sexual harassment that is covered by RA 7877, or the Anti-Sexual Harassment Act of 1995, which refers to requests or demands for sexual favors by a person with authority, influence, or moral ascendancy over another person.
So linawin lang natin,
Yes.
itong code na binabanggit mo,
Yes.
yung ASH is internal sa inyo sa UP.
It is.
Pero naniniwala ka na dapat meron itong broader application or na pwede dapat itong kopyahin ng mga ibang institutions? Kasi maganda yung definition na
Yes,
yun.
because it's very comprehensive because of all the acts that it covers. And it can be also between people who are of the same sex. So it's not necessarily opposite sex, and it doesn't matter what their sexual orientation is.
This is not my position, but I have to ask the question.
of
Is it
course.
not too harsh? Because
It
it's
is
so
harsh.
broad?
It is harsh. And I think a sexual harassment policy must be harsh.
Why? Why? Let's dig into it. Why should sexual harassment deserve a harsh
Well, my
punishment?
sense is we should always err on the side of caution. Diba? And I think it offers greater protection for potential victims if the provisions of the code are very, very strict.
Siguro yung next question ko is
Yes.
mahirap na tanong kasi wala naman tayong data. But yung sense mo, Teach,
Yes.
gaano kalaki yung problema ng sexual harassment sa mga campus atin? Hindi lang sa UP, but everywhere.
Yeah, you're right. It's very hard to say precisely how widespread the phenomenon is. But anecdotally, we know that it's grave enough. It happens so often that it's something we should all be concerned about. So, yes, it happens everywhere. And you know, it's not limited to university campuses. It happens in workplaces, it happens in streets, in public transport. It's a very, very vital issue that society really must be addressing, not only in our campuses.
Yeah, alam ko si Teach doesn't want to talk about Ateneo, pero ako as an alumnus
Okay.
of Ateneo, I'll just say na yung isang naging malaking issue is yung nangyari sa Ateneo na kumalat sa Ateneo Freedom Wall na may sexual harassment doon. Let's not make the discussion about Ateneo, but let me ask, do you think that's just the tip of the iceberg? Marami pa tayong hindi nakikita, not just in Ateneo but also in other institutions. And why is it that there's such a reticence to talk about the issue?
Many of the incidents really go unreported. And I think the reticence is all because those who have been violated are afraid to report because they don't know if they'll be taken seriously, if there are existing mechanisms, if their complaints will be acted upon promptly, if they will be assured confidentiality. So there are many considerations that those who have experienced sexual harassment have to take into consideration.
So kayo sa UP, ano yung mga, I guess, best practices na natutunan nyo in terms of handling these cases? We're not saying that the UP system is perfect. Of course, a lot of things fall through the cracks too. But I'm sure you've learned some best practices over the years.
Because we have mechanisms in place. We have an Office of Anti-Sexual Harassment in Diliman, and we have offices in all the campuses. And we also have, like I mentioned earlier, our Anti-Sexual Harassment Code. I mean, that's a policy that's been in existence for very long. The ASH code that we have right now was ratified by the Board of Regents just last year. But prior to that, we had implementing rules and regulations for the anti-sexual harassment law in 1995 yun, di ba? So talagang matagal na namin binibigyang pansin ang issue ng sexual harassment. Tapos, meron kaming parang zero tolerance na stand against sexual harassment. Napakahalaga yun na ang mga academic institutions ay magsabi na hindi namin kinokondena ang sexual harassment. And we treat it like a serious matter. And we have mechanisms that will address all complaints.
So halimbawa?
Yes.
Halimbawa, how does it work sa UP? Ngari, meron akong problema. May untoward sexual advance sa akin yung teacher ko. How would I proceed sa UP context?
Okay. The first thing you should do is go to the Office of Anti-Sexual Harassment and report the incident.
Okay.
But before that, I think if you don't want to report it immediately, I think you should record what happened. If there are messages.
Okay, and this doesn't just apply to UP students. This is for
all
everyone.
Students, all students, I think. Because you're not sure if you have the courage to go to offices to report it immediately, but you need to have a record of it. And our memories can fail us. So as soon as you can write it down, keep all messages, email, anything that has to do with that incident. And then, baka nga marami pa yan baka successive incidents yan. Then when you have the courage, please go to the Office of Anti-Sexual Harassment, for instance in UP, and report the incident. And then they'll do an intake, interview, etc.
And also, maybe you should start looking for friends already who can help you through it. No?
And also, if there are witnesses, maybe you should talk to them already.
Yan. I want to move to a discussion of yung nangyayari internally. Kasi it seems to me as if hindi pa handa yung maraming mga estudyante pag-usapan yung mga experiences nila. So what they do is they post online, ganyan, may mga parinig, ganyan. On the one hand, it's beneficial kasi meron ng outlet yung mga tao online. Pero and this is not my position again. I want to ask this as a kind of devil's advocate. Is there a danger of kind of online lynch mobbings, of accusations of people who have not been proven to be guilty, suddenly being deemed guilty dahil ang daming chismis sa kanila online? Are there any dangers to what's happening right now na ang daming Me Too na lumalabas sa social media?
I have mixed feelings about that. On the one hand, I like it that young people are coming out about their experiences of sexual harassment. It emboldens others to do the same, di ba? Then kasi na it's not an individual experience, that you shouldn't blame yourself for it, that it's a shared structural problem.
Yes.
So on the one hand, it's good. But on the other hand, yes, there's a possibility that we can unfairly judge or charge people who are otherwise innocent. But that's why it's important to have mechanisms in universities in place, because those cases naman will undergo a process.
Yun,
Hindi ba?
Di ba merong sense na baka kaya sumasabog online kasi wala silang other outlet, hindi natutugunan dun sa loob.
Hindi na-address. So out of frustration siguro, di ba? Because we should really encourage our youth to report all incidences. And if I say this all the time, if it's not for you, you're also doing it for others.
Yes.
Because if the perpetrator is really a perpetrator, we want to prevent him or her from victimizing more students or whoever, other members of the community, di ba?
Nabanggit mo yung issue of internally minsan.
Yes.
Mahirap pag-usapan ng mga admin or hindi na-actionan. Bakit sa tingin mo may ganong problema? Di naman natin lahat, no? We're not saying that all administrations have a hard time dealing with these cases. But in those cases na merong problema ang administration, what prevents them from acting upon these cases?
What prevents them is probably lack of concern about the issue of sexual harassment. So it's, I think, still the problem that we live in a patriarchal society.
Yes.
We still have our gender norms and our gender ideology in place. So I think until people learn to understand that unequal or hierarchical, asymmetrical gender relations are a problem in the country, we're going to have continuance of all forms of violence against women, of which sexual harassment, as you know, is only one of its forms. Yun talaga, parang hindi siya nakikitang importanteng problema.
Bakit siya problema? Ano ba nga ba talaga ang epekto ng sexual harassment sa isang tao? In particular sa mga babae, babalikan natin yung issue na yun, why it is asymmetrically detriment to women. But bakit siya napaka-traumatic na experience?
Have you ever met anybody who has been harassed?
Yes.
So it's very, very traumatic, okay? And you can really feel the abuse that they went through when they talk about it. And it's an enduring feeling. Hindi ba? So hindi lang siya parang, sige, I'll set it aside. Hindi, talagang nababagabag sila sa mahabang panahon. They need counseling pa nga, di ba? So talagang may epekto siya sa dignidad ng kababaihan. Yung pambabastos, lalo na pag-repeated, tapos iba-iba yung mga perpetrators. So talagang, kahit nga isa lang ang kaso, kailangan ba marami? Para nating bigyang importansya. Para sa akin, isang kaso, isang babaeng naharas, dapat i-address na.
Mga machong tanga na o nagtatanga-tangahan lang ang hindi alam na nagkakaroon ng problema yon. Words matter. I think that's what we realized eh. Some people say, ay, patawa lang yan, joke lang yan. Don't take me so seriously. Yan lagi ang excuse sa mga macho, di ba? But they don't realize yung deep effect ng words and subtle actions on people. Doesn't have to be rape.
Yes, it's true. And you know, the experiences of women who have been victimized by sexual harassment is parang na-rape din. Hindi ba? Yung affront to your dignity as a human being. So it's a serious matter that must be treated seriously.
Nabanggit natin, we're talking about women primarily
Yes.
here. Okay, we're not saying that there are no men victims of sexual harassment, but si Teach has been really forwarding this notion na babae ang kailangan natin pagtuunan ng pansin dito. Para ulit sa mga macho dyan na walang alam, bakit issue primarily ito ng mga babae?
Okay. Ang sexual harassment po ay isang uri ng violence against women na alam po natin ay gender-based. Ang kahulugan po niyan ay nahaharas po ang mga babae dahil sila ay babae. At dahil ang lipunan po ay, yun nga, minamarkahan ng hindi pagkakapantay-pantay sa relasyon ng babae at lalaki. Yung lalaki ay superior, ang mga babae ay subordinate, di ba? So yun ang problema talaga. At doon nag-uugat ang sexual harassment. So basta hindi pantay ang relasyon ng pangkasarian sa lipunan, hindi mahihinto ang fenomeno ng sexual harassment.
Siguro dapat ding i-dispel yung notion na kaya may sexual harassment dahil lang sa libog, di ba? That is one of the most pernicious notions about sexual harassment, di ba?
No, it's an issue of power, as all forms of violence against women are. It's all power. And even if it happens within people of the same sex, may power relation involved.
Ito kasi, I feel like ang dami sa mga komento sa online dahil lang may mga konting kaso of, let's say, homosexual teachers speaking on male students na ginawang issue of homophobia bigla. Not realizing the fact na yes, there are men victims of sexual assault, sexual violence, sexual harassment, but still primarily it's an issue about women's rights. Kasi babae talaga ang mas vulnerable eh. I mean, kung lalaki ka ba, naka-catcall ka pag naglalakad ka, di ba? Pinipituhan ka ba? Hindi naman, di ba?
Kung meron, very rarely.
Very rarely. Anong payo ang mabibigay mo sa mga estudyanteng ganito?
Persist.
Persist,
Fight, di ba? Because really, it's the students who can make a difference, I think. If the administration officials are not willing to act, it's the students who must demand it because it's the responsibility of all schools to provide a safe and healthy environment, not only for its students but for all members of the community. Diba? So they're really duty-bound to provide this for the students. And the students, as if they pay, diba? They should demand it, diba? They should demand a university where they do not have to fear any form of violence.
Kahit di nagbabayad, kahit taxes mo nagbabayad yan, kahit state university yan, di ba? You have to demand the best from your state university. Because everybody deserves to live in a safe environment.
And I to think work and study.
Yun lang talaga. I guess I'll close with an appeal. I'll close with an appeal to administrators, co-faculty. You need to prioritize your students over your friends. Kung meron mga kaibigan na naakusahan ng sexual harassment, you have to be a professional about it. And make sure that you do something about it. Kasi kagaya na nabanggit ni Teach kanina, hindi lang isang biktima yan. Pag wala kang ginawa about that, you have effectively placed thousands and thousands of other students at risk. That is on your conscience, regardless kung kaibigan mo yan o hindi. At kung estudyante ka naman, ang message ko sa inyo, ang message namin sa inyo is, yun nga, persist. You really need to persist because marami talaga, aminin na natin, maraming administrators, maraming teachers, hindi makikinig until you pressure them. Dahil maraming gagong macho sa mundong ito na hindi naniniwala na ito ay totoong problema. You need to make them see the problem and you need to lobby for it. And if you are a victim, although hindi ka naman obligadong lumabas, if you can, try to tell your story so that your story can help other people. Maraming salamat, Professor Natsi Verceles, Teacher Natsi, for attending this episode of Basagan ng Trip. Again, if you want to talk to us, contact me at Twitter. How can they get in touch with your office for UP students if they want to, kung meron silang mga reklamo, kung kailangan ng tulong?
Well, you can just send me a message on
Okay,
Facebook.
okay.
Nathalie Africa Verceles.
Okay.
At saka meron akong Twitter, cute yung Twitter name
Okay.
ko. Feminazi Af.
Yun, Feminazi app. So you can tweet her also.
Natsy. Yeah.
So maraming salamat. I'll see you next time.